Good afternoon, everyone. I am Honeylyn Barquilla.
And I am Maria Christine Tahil.
The topic that has been assigned to us, together with my partner, Maria Christine Tahil, is all about presuppositions. So to start with, I am going to discuss about the definition of presuppositions and its types. In the branch of linguistics known as pragmatics, a presupposition is an implicit assumption about the world or background belief relating to an utterance whose truth is taken for granted in discourse. It is something the speaker assumes prior to making an utterance. For example, Mildred no longer writes fiction. It presupposed that Mildred once wrote fiction. Another example. Annabelle bought 2 movie tickets for Valentine's Day. It presupposes that first, Annabelle has a boyfriend, and second, the ticket is for her friend. Next. Every after class, Doran is always the first one to go home. This presupposes that first, Doran is busy, and second, Doran has an errand to do. Presuppositions can sometimes be wrong. That's why there are conditions that must be met in order to be regarded as acceptable. In general, presupposition is something that is communicated but not said. There are 6 types of presuppositions. First is the existential presuppositions, factive presuppositions, lexical presuppositions, structural presuppositions, non-factive presuppositions, and lastly is the counterfactual presuppositions. But in my part, I'm just going to discuss about the first 3 presuppositions. First is the existential presuppositions. It is the assumptions of the existence of the entities named by the speaker. It is both present in noun phrase and possessive constructions. In this case, it presupposes the existence of the Cold War. Next is this. It refers to the existence of the car. Next is the example of possessive constructions. This means that Tom exists and he has a car. This sentence presupposes that Taylor exists and she has an album. Second is the factive presupposition. It is the assumptions that something is true due to the existence of some verbs such as realize, know, odd, aware, glad, regret, and some other verb words that you can use. As you can notice, the verbs that has been used here, realize, glad, and know, are examples that something is true due to its existence. First example, she didn't realize he was ill. It presupposes that he was ill. Another examples are this, I wasn't aware that he was married. This verb aware presupposes that he was married. Lastly is the lexical presupposition. It is the assumption that in using one word, the speaker can have another meaning or word that can be understood. Its asserted meaning is conventionally interpreted with its presupposition. These are the examples of lexical presupposition. Remember that stop, again, started, and managed that has been used in the sentence presupposes another unstated concept.
So now let's move on to the structural presupposition. It is the assumption associated with the use of certain sentence structures that is conventionally and regularly presupposed that part of the structure is already assumed to be true. So in this case, speakers can use structures to treat information as presupposed or assumed to be true, and hence to be accepted as true by the listener. It uses WH question constructions. For example, when did she travel to the USA? So we already assumed or presupposed that she already traveled to the USA. Another is, where did you buy the book? You already bought the book. So, the listener perceives that the information presented is necessarily true or intended as true by the speaker. Next is non-factive presupposition. It is one that is assumed not to be true. Verbs like dream, imagine, and pretend are used with the presupposition that what follows is not true. Like, for example, I dreamed that I was rich. That was just a dream. So that means I was not rich. Another is, we imagined we were in Hawaii. But that was just an imagination. We were not in Hawaii. So the listener perceives that the information presented is not true. Rather, it is just an imagination. Lastly, counterfactual presupposition. It is a conditional structure that is generally called a counterfactual conditional. It presupposes that the information in the F clause is not true at the time of utterance. So it refers to structures whose presuppositions are not only true but are opposite of what is true or contrary to facts. Like, for example, if you were my friend, you would have helped me. But at the time of action, you are not my friend. Another is, if you were my daughter, I would not allow you to do this. But you're not my daughter, so I can't do that thing to you. So, what was said is the opposite of what is true, or contrary to facts. So that is counterfactual presupposition.
So that's all for now, and we hope that you have learned something about our topic, which is the presupposition and its types. So if you have any questions regarding our topic, feel free to ask. We will be welcome to answer all of your questions. So that's it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening.